I'm not sure how well this is going to show up on my fake GoPro camera, but I've got a jar of crystallized honey above the inner cover of this hive, and the bees are, I think they're getting at it. Let's tip it upside down, or tip it sideways and take a look. There you go. Not really going for it. They're not really breaking cluster much because it's cold. Who knows, it might just be too high for them. There they are. Looking okay. What I have here isn't really I'll just shut that off. What I have here isn't really a traditional inner cover. It's just a piece of plywood. It doesn't have a top entrance. So it's got the normal inner cover hole, I guess, right in the middle. And I have holes drilled in here for extra ventilation over the winter. And then I have my inner cover, not my inner cover, my ventilation rim. And I might just leave it like this, or I might put a piece of hard insulation over it, or I might drop a hive pillow, what I call a hive pillow inside, which is basically a regular cotton pillow full of wood chips and other absorbent material. It'll provide a bit of insulation, but also just absorb any moisture that evaporates or rises up through these inner cover holes. Anyway, I would rather see them clustered down below, not up top right now. But it is warm today, so. But hopefully this hive doesn't have their top box. They didn't cap their top box of honey, so I'm a little bit concerned about that. I'll probably, before I'm done with them in the winter, or before winter, I'll probably put some sugar on top of it, either sugar cakes, dry sugar, or maybe even some fondant. I've got my hands on some fondant. I might try fondant this year. Whoop. They're pretty friendly though. You can see they're not showing, they don't have their, you probably can't see this on this camera, but they don't have their butts sticking in the air with their stingers poking out in case I bang into them. I'll put that back up. This hive and the hive right next to it, they get morning sun. At this time of year they get the morning sun, and then by noon or late afternoon, they're pretty much in the shade. They heat up. This black paint heats them up real good, and I haven't decided if I'm gonna wrap them or not this year. Something's gotta. It's either maybe the inner cover got bent. I think it's actually the rim. The rim is no longer flat, or never was flat. I don't know, but there's obviously a big crack right there. So I might, going into winter, I might just strap them down with that ratchet strap or a sports strap, just to seal that crack. And this is another hive right next to it. Seeing that I'm here, might as well talk about this one. These guys, I think, are clustering. They're doing better. So what I have in here is one of my first inner covers that I bought in 2009. I didn't use it until 2010. Bought this from Bee Made at beemade.com. I think I spent $10 on it, and it's made of thick, hard, unbendable, unwarpable plywood that's dipped in wax, beeswax, and the beeswax really helps preserve it. And these things are still as good as they were the day I bought them. Anyhow, so this is just the cover for one of those feeders, those rapid feeders, and I'm just using it to fill in the hole, the inner cover hole, to keep the heat in. Just why not? And again, come winter, I'll probably put something in this inner cover, or over this inner cover, either maybe hard insulation, but I'm probably going to just put another hive pillow in it. And these ones, they're up a little bit, but their honey is capped up top, So they're really not clustering that much. For the most part, these ones have been clustering down below. And I have their top entrance blocked up right now. My theory is if you block up the top entrance going into winter, they arrange the honey inside the hive well so that they're going to cluster low going into winter and then work their way up into the capped honey as winter progresses. So they've got this big block of honey up top, which is providing excellent insulation, plus it's food. So and the heat retention from that honey, again, this is just my theory, but the heat rises from the cluster, gets absorbed by those combs of honey, and it just, when it gets cold at night, that honey retains the heat of the cluster, so they don't have to work as hard. And I wish you could see this. This is the worst camera for this kind of thing, but again, I got defective supers all over the place, and this is a big crack, but they sealed it with propolis. And I did this last year. I wrapped my hives for the first time in a long time, and the wrap caused moisture to get held close to the hive, and it broke the propolis seal, and then moisture got in through the propolis seal, and the bees got wet. But there's cracks all over these hives, and they're just, most of them are propolized, so it's pretty good. Bees know how to fix things. This is again, this is probably not coming through well on this camera, but this is just it's an auger hole, or just a hole that I've drilled in a lot of my supers, and I just filled this one in quickly with some old comb. And you can see there's a bee right there just poking its head out. And so, yeah, you know what? We don't need to seal that in for some reason. They're happy with that little exit right there. That little bit of extra ventilation or whatever it's doing for them. Now that bee might be in there trying to seal it in, but if it is, then I'll just leave it alone. I could just put a piece of tape over it too, but yeah, neat. Let's see what we can see under here. The bees are in a good mood today. They're definitely not in a stinging mood. Yeah, these cameras don't focus close up very well, so it's all blurry once it gets close. Let's see, I don't think the bees are bringing in any more pollen. They were bringing in some yellow pollen for a while, and some Japanese knotweed. Oh, there's still some coming in. So yeah. Anyway, this was supposed to be a 30-second clip, and now it's probably like 10 minutes. But anyway, and I've got just happens to be an old cookie sheet that I just happen to have over this super over here, and I had a bunch of junk going on here, and I just laid it all here, and it just happens to have become a watering hole for the bees. They just get right here on the edge, and they go bleep, bleep, bleep. So they're drinking a little bit of water. But yeah, they're waking up today. It's been cold, but it's going up to 17 degrees today, so they're going to get a little bit of warmth. And I'll still see there are some cracks. Like, look at this one, man. This shows you this is the problem again. I'm always talking about this, but when you have inconsistent supers, either homemade supers or supers that are purchased from different sources, like you can see just by the handles here that this one is different than that one, and that one is different than that one. But yeah, and just like this, like, you know, look at the difference between the width, right? And that's what causes problems. Like, it's flat on that side, but a big warp in or something, it bends in or something on that side. So I'll probably, I think it's already propolized, but I'll probably put some tape or something over it. Oh yeah, there's a few, like this here one isn't even sealed yet. So yeah, they're gonna need maybe a little bit of tape before winter kicks in. you.